بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir Al-Quran, the jewels of the Quran. We have reached Surah Al-Tariq. Imam Al-Ghazali chose as jewels verses 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And the name of the surah is manifest in the very first verse. أعوذ بالله السميع من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسماء والطارق. As always, the translation is an interpretation. So by the heaven and the this nightly star, but we will see that. We'll ask, as the Quran asks, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ, and what will make you realize what the nightly star is? And the answer, النجم الثاقب. It is the star of piercing brightness. We know very well that we have trillions of stars. And is it the brightness, something that is seen from the earth? For whatever comes at night, there's even a dua about the possible evil showing up at night, but the tariq here is someone who knocks on your door. Not that this is really the case with this particular star. So tariq is an-najm al-thaqib, a piercing star. What does it mean? Those involved in the scientific interpretation of the Qur'an, they said that it's a reference to the pulsar star, and it's not something seen, it's something that is recorded by these radios, if you and these pulsars, they rapidly spin. These are considered neutron stars, and we could it does emit a pulse of radiation on regular intervals. They range from milliseconds to seconds, etc. And that's it is something that was not known to us, of course. Only very recently, scientists, and they are still studying these, and there are theories to explain what's going on. So we talk about beams of they are highly magnetized rotating neutron. Rotating neutron star, no more positive. Literally, that's the name, neutron. No positive or negative forces within the star, and ultimately, a star, the life of a star. We talk about gaseous state. There's nuclear fusion elements, and then the star begins to die. Once it dies, if you will, there's no more light. It becomes a neutron star with these pulses, with these, as if it has its own heart, as if. it emits beams of electromagnetic radiation. This is not the first time that we have something that was not known at the time, and slowly people started to understand what's going on in the Quran. For example, al-Jawari al-Kunnas. It is believed; these are believed to be it's a reference to black holes. Kunnas, they sweep, they vacuum, and we know that they do vacuum. At the center of each galaxy, these massive black holes are swallowing one star, literally, like the image of Cookie Monster eating these cookies, and I'm just trying to make it vivid. And the black hole is literally swallowing the massive gravity and theories of Hawking speaking about these stars evaporating in essence. Now, if we may basically, I think we need to read the verse about the sky. So here was وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ. If we continue, and we will do that. Verse 11 was وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ, by the sky with its recurring cycles. Think in terms of cycles. Yes, that's what it is. And the cycles, or cyclical model, or cyclic universe theory model, so we have massive expansion, exponential expansion, and ultimately the theory is that we'll have a big crunch. One day we'll have a big crunch. And part of the narrative that I have learned is that we go back to atomic, almost like the atomic beginnings. So Big Bang, and then big crunch, the end of the universe that we know. So it will collapse onto itself. I think if you use the image of the yo-yo, it will, once you release it, it will basically rotate in one direction. Once it reaches the very end, then it needs to, it is forced to climb back. The movement is the opposite. And if you are following my argument, you would realize that if the universe indeed this is how it is going to behave, then this is exactly the meaning of the sun rising from the west. Things, the planets will rotate in the opposite direction. So it is us, sun. Sun is the sun, and the earth rotation will be reversed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. These are only ideas that circulate. Other than this, in the classical books of Quranic exegesis, they will speak about these stars that show up. In fact, they pierce the darkness, the night, with their light. But if you follow this, it's a specific here, specific kind of star. After these three verses, the fourth one, like as if they are reminders of great universal signs, and we are reminded that there is no soul without a vigilant um, angel recording everything. إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ. Recording everything, it's حافظ. How about the role of protection also? So there are those who would write down everything that you do. But also it's possible that we talk about protection. فَلْيَنْظُرْ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Let people then consider what they were created from. Of course, alluding to the weakness of the human being. He is very weak. The strongest is very weak when we talk about sickness, old age, death. They were created, the human being. She is created from a spurting fluid. خلق من ماء دافق. And this is an amazing thing now about the where does it come from? Stemming from between the backbone and the rib cage. What we have, in fact, it is, well, we might be speaking about the testis and the ovaries, in testis in the male and ovaries in the females, and in the case of the male, it's not only the testis. The next door, the prostate is involved. So somewhere, it's not really a secret, but subhanallah, we do know the ovaries themselves. That's it's a fascinating thing that an ovum would travel in the fallopian. Like if it could be fertilized right there, and then it will stick to the wall of the womb. They are sustained really by arteries originating between the backbone and the rib cage. Okay, so but that's an interpretation about الصلب والترائب. Surely he is fully capable of bringing them back to life. إنه على رجعه لقادر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created the human being, everything is intentional. We mentioned this before. It is your DNA and your RNA, of course. But because it's by design, then your blueprint is not lost. I'm trying to make it, to explain how it's going to be really easy to quicken, to revive the dead, bring them back to life. On that day, يوم تبلى السرائر, on the day of judgment, of course, day of reckoning, holding people accountable, all secrets will be disclosed. Some psychologists, some psychiatrists in the school of psychoanalysis, they might speak about a dark side of the human psyche, of the human being. So it is possible in this world to hide something, in principle. You cannot hide this from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this world, it's possible for hypocrites to be double-faced, two-faced. They might show that which they are not harboring. Not in the hereafter. On that day, it's not possible to keep anything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On that day, then one will have neither power nor any helper. فما له من قوة ولا ناصر يوم تبلى السرائر إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر. Then one will have neither power nor any helper. And going back to the sky. So we began with the sky. And again back to the sky. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ. This is about the recurring cycles that will go back between some in this theory, of course, endless cycles. So Big Bang and then Big Crunch. There are recurring cycles. That's very important to remember. And the earth, meaning and also by the earth, with its that is sada. I'm going to mention one English translation of this particular verse. It says, and the earth with its sprouting plants. There is no mention of sprouting plants directly. That is sada, the earth that has a fault line. And this fault line, we may be speaking about the just traversing the tectonic plates. Okay. And that would be literally massive. We have great rift valleys, massive ones. Or one of them, for example, each continent has many of these. And one of the largest, a few thousand miles, extends from Turkey through the greater Syria, if you will, and continues along the Dead Sea and all the way to Mozambique. Thousands of miles. The Earth's vault that we mentioned is massive. Is massive because it really traverses the on the edge of these tectonic plates. So the Qur'an obviously is speaking about things that they were impossible for people to know at the time of revelation. This is why even interpreting that as sadaq into sprouting plants, they must have thought about something. Yes, but this is not. While it is in itself a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a greater sign, which is these vaults, these rifts in the crust of the earth. Surely this, meaning this Qur'an, is a decisive word, and it is not intended, it is not to be taken lightly. It's not not to be taken lightly. It's not for joking. It's not for entertainment. They are certainly devising plans, meaning evil plans. إنهم يكيدون كيدا إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالسهل. Now we have إنهم يكيدون كيدا. Verily they are planning, devising evil plans. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also planning, countering their evil. For the non-believers, it seems they cannot stay put, while Islam, for example, is making progress. They cannot leave we have been suffering from more than 2 centuries of direct colonialism and interference in our region. And this is why we resort to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to end all these injustices, unfair practices. And the amazing thing is that the Qur'an is asking the Prophet ﷺ and thus the Muslim community to have patience. So bear with the disbelievers. فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. So bear with the disbelievers, meaning, O Prophet, this is as an interpretation of this is in fact the Prophet ﷺ who is directly asked, and also it is a lesson for us about patience, perseverance, resilience, but patience too. Let them be for just a little while, for ultimately death will catch up with them, and then the day of judgment. Thus we conclude Surah At-Tariq. Next surah, inshallah, is Surah Al-A'la. Imam Ghazali chose 5 verses, the first 5 verses. Until then, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.